She brought misery to everyone and thought it's her fault, 'cause everything in her life is fake. Her mother tried to convince her otherwise, but unintentionally, she begged the moon to take her back. She refused and tried to stay a little longer. She wants to live 'cause maybe she can make up to her mistakes. That's our recap today with a 2013 movie, The Tale of Princess Kaguya. So, before we begin, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. Once upon a long time ago, in a remote village where a bamboo cutter lived, he used to cut it off the mountain and make a lot of things out of it. One day, he saw a light coming out of a bamboo trunk. He approached in astonishment and found the torso emerging from the ground in seconds. The trunk opened, and inside, a little princess. When he asked about her name, she laughed and fell asleep. He said the god sent him this princess as a blessing, so he removed her from the trunk, and she was smaller than the palm of his hand. He takes her, goes to his house, and shows her to his wife. And the first time she touches her, the princess turns into a normal child. They decided to take her to one of the mothers to feed her. But halfway through, the wife finds her breasts filling with milk, so she feeds her. The two were sure it was a blessing from the gods, so they decided to raise her in the best way they can. She was growing so fast. She was a cheerful and innocent child who used to laugh and play all the time. After 2 days, she was able to talk and walk well. She always loved to play with the animals, but while playing with some wild pigs, a boy named Sutemaru, but we're gonna call him Maru, sees their mother running towards her to keep her away from her children. So he catches up with her at the last moment. In the same day, her father was looking for her in the bamboo fields, but instead, he found another trunk shining. When he gets close and opens it, he finds a large amount of gold, and he knew that the gods were telling him to raise her in the best way with that gold. He leaves them where they are, doesn't tell anyone, and sits thinking about what he's gonna do. Bamboo used to play with the children all the time, and one day, we see the farmer walking to the bamboo trunk to get the gold, and then lots of clothes fall from the sky. He tells his wife, God wants her to be raised in a way worthy of these clothes, and he decides that he's gonna buy a palace in the capital. It was clear his wife didn't like the idea very much, but he made up his mind. From that day on, the farmer used to go to the capital a lot with the gold. Summer is passing quickly, and the harvest is coming in fall. We find Bamboo growing up so fast. She's almost 13 years old. She was playing with a gang, and they were hunting peacocks with Maro. When they finish, he told her, "You have to grow up again," but she didn't give it too much attention. So he told her that he felt that she would keep growing up, and one day she'll leave the village. But she's happy here, and she will always stay in this village and will always be a member of his gang. Her life was peaceful and very happy. But when she comes home, she finds her father and mother dressed and waiting for her. She knew they were leaving, so she asked if she could come back tomorrow. But the princess and Maro did not see each other again, not for a long time at least. We find her waking up in the car. She sees the palace, and she knew from her parents that she will live here and that all these clothes are hers. She was very happy because it was beautiful and the clothes are new and nice. She spins, laughs, runs, and jogs. She stumbles with someone named Sagami. Her father tells her that Miss Sagami is the one who will make her act as a princess. Sagami was very mean and said that no one needs her guidance more than this little girl. From that day on, Sagami taught the princess everything she knows. It was all boring, so Bamboo would take any opportunity and run from her. However, there were things that she loved very much: stories, writing, and playing the koto. Her father goes to see the progress, and contrary to the expectation, we find her knowing almost everything Sagami said. With time, the princess reaches puberty. Her father was very happy and said that he's going to have a party for her. She was happy for a while, because she can bring her friends from the village, but her father refuses and her joy fades away. One of the strange customs in ancient Japan is that the princess used to shave her eyebrows and put eyeliner instead, and put white paint on her face and black paint on her teeth. I don't know how this is a sign of beauty. The important thing is that Sagami wanted to do this, but the princess completely refused. Over my dead body, Bamboo tells her that if I sweat, it will drip into my eyes. Sagami replies the princess never cries. So how am I gonna laugh? The crazy witch tells her that the noble princess never laughs. Another custom is girls are not named till they hit puberty, so her father brings a wise man to name her. She fears him but she sits, and he looks at her for the first time and feels young again. The princess plays the koto, and finally he named her Kaguya. The celebration begins and lasts for 3 days, while Kaguya sits sadly without doing anything. On the 3rd day, one of the people at the party insulted the princess, and unluckily she heard him. Kaguya got so mad and sad, she stand up and runs from the palace and from the capital, and made her way to her village. It was a long way, but when she reached the village, it was completely gone. She looked for someone and asked them about what happened. She finds out people left because the mountain died. They will not come back again except after 10 years, when the mountain comes back to life. She walks away and it begins to snow. She eventually got so tired and fell on the ground. When she wakes up, she found herself at a party and we know that she was dreaming. But what she saw was not necessarily a dream. From that day on, Kaguya was a different person. All her happiness is gone. She removed her eyebrows, painted her face and teeth. She did everything that was required from her, and none of those present felt her suffering. Although no one saw her in person except the wise man. However, everyone started to talk about her beauty. Because of this, lovers and people were standing at the palace in dozens just to glimpse her beauty. And one time, 5 of the nobles in the capital heard about her, and when the wise man told them, he felt that he had regained his youth again because of her beauty. The 5 ran after each other to see her. When Sagami takes her to the nobles, Kaguya completely refuses. But Sagami tells her that her father will be upset, and when they sat behind the veil, they all sat singing about her beauty, promising the happiness she will take with them. At that time, she had enough, but she spoke in a tender voice and devoid of any feeling at the same time. She tells them that she's grateful for the feelings they have for someone they have never seen and told them to bring all the treasures that they compare her with in order to reassure herself and see to what degree they value her. The treasures were a bejeweled branch of Mount Horai, the sacred Buddha bowl, a hoodie made of fiery mouse fur, a precious stone from the neck of the dragon, and the 5th was a rare pearl from a rare shell or something. When her father and Sagami hear what's happening, they were shocked. He tries to tell her that these things are imaginary, but she knows. After that, the princess feels a little happy. I don't know why, but she takes her assistant and her mother, goes out to the forest to smell some air. She meets one there with her son, and she behaves normally with them, but the farmer treats her as a princess. This makes her sad again, so she decides to go back to the palace. Days are passing by. Kaguya is getting older. One day, one of the nobles come and tells her that he brought the branch of the tree studded with jewels. He sat talking about the hardships he had to get this branch, but the break-in takes place outside the room, and we find that they are craftsmen. We know that the nobleman told some craftsmen to make him a branch of a tree encrusted with jewels, but didn't pay their money. Kaguya laughs and the nobleman feels the embarrassment, so he runs away. Another one came with the mouse fur but turns out to be a liar too. And one of them dies while looking for the treasure he talked about. When Kaguya heard about what happened, she felt or knew this life is fake, and maybe she's also fake. She brings misery to everyone around her. Her mother tried to calm her down, cause it's not her fault. The emperor himself hears about Kaguya and sends someone to get her to become one of his royal harem. She refuses, of course, and her father gets annoyed, but he listens to her. When the emperor knew that she rejected him, he decides to go see her himself. He entered on her suddenly and grabbed her from behind while she was trying to get away from him, and then she passed through his hands like air. The day passed as usual, and she was looking at the moon as it fully appeared in the sky. She used to look to it for days. Her father and mother were with her and knew that something was wrong, and finally they managed to convince her to tell them what's wrong. She told them about what happened. She cries and tells them she doesn't want to go back to the moon again. She tells them that she came here from the moon, but the happiness they tried to give her was fake, and for that, she unintentionally asked the moon to take her back, and they will come to take her on the night of the 15th. When her father hears this, he decides to fortify the palace from every corner. She was sitting with her mother and asked her to go back to the village again, and her mother helps her. When she returns to the mountain, she finds it back to life, and she meets the villagers. We see Maro returning to the village with his son. He hears a distant voice, so he walks after it and finds Kaguya. She was happy that she saw him and they just talked. She said that she would be happy if she lived with him, After a while, he tells her that they can escape together, but it's too late for her. They sit, play, and run together. They fly in the sky with their dreams and hopes. And she begs the sun, she begs the moon to keep her a little more, just a little more. But while they're in the sky together, Kaguya slips away from him and falls. He wakes up in the field, alone, without Kaguya, so maybe it's just a dream. Who knows? On the 15th, everyone in the palace was on his nerves. They see a white cloud coming from the sky. They try to stop her, but it's no use. They take Kaguya and put her on the moon dress that will make her forget everything that happened on Earth. And then the clouds come back to the moon again. Kaguya looks at Earth for the last time. And then the movie ends. Thanks for watching. See you soon and goodbye.